I'm JD with the Nerdery, and I'm here with Shawn Ashmore of XMen fame.
How you doing?
And you've done a lot of other stuff too.
I have.
A ton of other stuff. Quantum Break.
Yeah.
You're just all over the place.
Yeah, I've been working for a long time, and I growing up, I really liked sci-fi fantasy stuff, so I kind of tend to gravitate towards that stuff. So being a part of the X-Men was like a huge opportunity for me. I was really lucky.
So you are a comic book fan?
Yeah. I'm not going to say that I'm the most dedicated comic book fan. If you ask me trivia, I might not get it right. But I did grow up reading a lot of Marvel stuff mostly, and some Image stuff. And I love the Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtle stuff, like the black and white style. I love that. So I did read stuff growing up.
Cool. And so, working as Bobby Drake, was that the character that you really, really wanted to go for?
No. I to be honest, when I first auditioned for X-Men, I was excited to audition for it because I read the books. Bryan Singer, who directed The Usual Suspects, which is one of my favorite films at the time, I knew he was directing it. I was super excited about that. But when I first went into audition for that role, I was actually auditioning for Pyro.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't like I was like, I need to be Bobby. I was excited to be going in for it. So when I got the role, that was just exciting. I didn't care who I was going to be. It worked out really well, but I wasn't picky. I was just excited to be a part of it.
And your character had a very close relationship with Rogue, Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
Did y'all have to interact a lot off screen?
Yeah, we spent. I don't know. I've known her for like 16 years now. On and off screen, and she's amazing. Really, really fun to work with, fun to be around. And what's interesting about the X-Men films in general is that we've spent all these years making them, so you build these friendships up with people, because not only do you make the movies together, then you get to sort of travel around the world and promote them, and it's a lot of fun. And I feel like there's always sort of a family atmosphere when we all get back together and get to tell these stories again. So yeah, Anna's great. The whole cast is pretty amazing. So
have you stayed close with a lot of the cast since?
It's more like some people I see every once in a while. It's mostly sort of like we'll be randomly out and bump into people and hang out, and then every couple of years we get to make a movie together. So it's sort of more just randomly out seeing people.
Okay. Now I'm sure you probably get this a lot, but your brother and you were both on Smallville.
Yes.
As two different characters.
Yes. Confusing, I know.
You were Eric Summers.
Yeah.
And you got to work with Tom Welling.
I did.
A good bit.
I did.
And what's he like? What's he about?
Yeah, well, Tom was really cool. I mean, obviously Aaron worked with him for many, many years, so I only worked with him for a couple of weeks. But I felt really lucky to be a part of Smallville in the first season. It was so fresh and people were so excited about it. So it was great. Tom was cool. Allison Mack was great. I worked with her a little bit. Kristen was great. I actually did a mini-series with Kristen called Earthsea after the fact. So just really great group of people. And yeah, Tom was a really great guy. And to carry and be that role for so long was kind of amazing, and such a huge undertaking to be like, okay, you're playing Clark Kent. And he did a great job, and was awesome to work with. So I also liked getting to kick his butt in that episode because I got to steal his powers. So I was like, this may never happen again in the show. So I was glad I got to do it.
Did you have the same sort of excitement on that as you did with X-Men?
I think honestly I was a little more excited about X-Men because I was more of a Marvel guy. I knew DC stuff, but I was more of a fan of Marvel stuff. But I was incredibly powerful in that episode of Smallville, so that was pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. And how often do people ask you about Jimmy Olsen?
Several times a day, especially at cons. Yeah, it was a weird situation. Aaron obviously was kind of like, I'm not even sure if I should audition for Smallville because you've already been on it. He had the opportunity, but then he said, I'm going to send in do the audition anyways, and he obviously booked the role. And was amazing playing Jimmy. But we get that every once in a while. As twins and as actors, I've several times today, people have come up and said, I love you in Killjoys. And I'm like, that's my bro. And he gets the same thing when he does cons. It's like people come up to him and, say they like The Following or X-Men. So it's part of the game with us being twins. And we get used to it, and it's just kind of fun.
And y'all have actually been booked as twins before, correct?
Yeah, when we were younger, we did an episode of Fringe together, playing twins, which was really fun. It was one of my favorite shows at the time. And when we were younger, we played twins in a couple movies. So we've worked together a couple times, and we're always sort of looking to find that right thing to maybe do together. But it's kind of challenging. Finding like a really good role for twins is not as easy as you'd think. So yeah, so we'll eventually find something.
Now, a lot of twins like to have fun with their teachers and their parents whenever they're younger.
Yeah.
I'd imagine y'all did the same.
See, I think that's a myth. That
Really?
Twins like to do that because you're mistaken all the time. That the last thing you want to do is intentionally have people mistake you. So maybe I'm wrong, but the twins that I know really never played that many tricks because they got confused so often anyway. So that's the way that Aaron and I were. We were like, we never tried to fool people. It happens all the time naturally. So we didn't try to fool people that often.
All right, and my last question, we ask everybody this, and I'm actually going to interject with another question as well.
Okay.
If you could have any superpower, or if you could be any superhero, who would you be?
That's easy for me. I would be Nightcrawler. Love the character, but also love the ability. Like teleportation, like bamfing around would be the best thing. I travel a ton, and to be able to like just go pop, pop, instead of jumping on an airplane every time, it's practical and cool.
So no lines, not having to deal with all the lines.
Yeah, security lines and waiting to get on the plane and the travel time. I could just like get there.
And then of course, I'm sure it happens. You get overwhelmed with fans every now and again. And
yeah, I mean I'm never really overwhelmed. I mean, I love what I do. I feel lucky that people enjoy the work that I do. So to me, that's not a problem, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a privilege, and I feel lucky. I'm just happy to do what I do, and the fact that people know it makes me feel good.
Awesome. And the last question, that question we ask everybody: what in your mind is the definition of a nerd?
Of a nerd? Oh wow. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I think traditionally a nerd is sort of considered someone that's like uncool or antisocial or whatever. But I think now, pop culture has gravitated towards comic books and all these things that are traditionally, not considered cool. Comic books being one of them. We all know that that's not true, and the whole world has caught up. So I don't know. Maybe the definition has changed. I don't really know how to define a nerd, but yeah, I think what it used to mean has now gone out the window, and being a nerd is kind of a great thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's been great. I'm JD with the Nerdery with Shawn Ashmore. Come see him.